Hello, friends. Welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. I'm in the studio with Igal, and we're going to be discussing Arsenal, the Europa League, and the Premier League. I don't think we have to go for one. I think we have to go for for both trophies. We're going to be discussing that with Igal from Igal Talks Football. Make sure you do follow him on YouTube and the Football Terrace as well. If you're a big terrace lover, if you watch the Football Terrace, you've seen him there. And of course, if you watch Igal Talks Football, definitely you've seen him there. But so please do follow him on Twitter, Igal Talks Football, and then on YouTube as well. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just trying to share this link on my on my community right now. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, big up everyone who's having me on Kossis. You forgot to say your line, running large. That's you always say that. But yeah, man,
I
you're
love
my
that.
guy. Well, I like your intro. It's very unique. I
I
like your
mean,
intro.
I don't know how I don't know how I even came up with the intro, but I love it as well. I mean, it's just stuck to me now.
You know what? I remember watching you before you had the background and everything, and you were just uh, I forget what was it like. I was on Sunny TV at the time. You had your channel. You've been doing this for a long time. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Look, I started small as a content creator, and I thought I would. I never thought I'd get to this level. I thought I was going to be that small Arsenal fan that just does this much reaction and goes away. But here we are. Yeah, like I can't believe it as well.
I remember when Thomas Partey got signed, and I think I was on your channel like a year ago. Do you remember that? It
Yeah,
was it was confirmed sign. We confirmed a couple signings. We were talking about things. I was wearing like a green and white thing. I remember it was a year ago. We were talking about Awar and Madison
yeah.
that time.
And then I still think I have my intro where I put that show in the intro.
Really?
Yeah, I'll share with you. I'll share with you on Twitter. You'll see.
Let's see.
Yeah. So look, we cannot run away from the fact that we have developed very well in the past 3 years. Personally, I was Mikel Arteta out. I've
I've
seen
seen
him
that.
on the terrace before, and you want you're some of the people that have consistently created content ever since Emery left Arsenal. Right now, he's put us into the title race, and we are comfortably on top of it. Maybe not comfortably, but we are on top of the table. We've been there for quite a very, very long period of time. It was only 72 hours where we, buffered a little bit, but then we are back. Are we title contenders? Are we real title contenders?
We are title contenders, and not only are we title contenders, we're title favorites, my friend. Like I think we're favorites over City, and you know what? Maybe some people don't want the favorites tag, but I think to say we're not title contenders is ridiculous. We're top of the table come February. If this is not title contenders, what is title contenders? I
Yeah.
think the question is not are we title contenders, is can we win the title? And I think we can. I think we can. I think this City team is not the same team as always, and this Arsenal team has the experience. Remember, at the beginning of the season, we said, "Oh, we don't have the experience to do it. We don't have it. We're a young team. We're not a young team no more. We have some of the most experienced players in the league in Jorginho, in Jesus, in Zinchenko. And when you look at Thomas Partey and Xhaka, they're leaders in the dressing room also.
That's
So
true.
it's not just the young kids anymore. And if you look at the Aston Villa game, perfect example. Jorginho pops up with a goal, Zinchenko pops up with a goal, two of the more experienced players in the team carrying us through to victory. It's great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'm one of those people who entered late. That belief zone, that belief state of Arsenal will win it. Arsenal will go on to see it through. But when we beat Tottenham and Man United in 1 week, I started believing. I looked at all the other teams in the Premier League, and I'm like, they're not apart from the Anfield. All the other grounds, we can go there and pick up 3 points. All the other grounds, history favors us. I mean, Everton are coming at home. In the second leg, you have the likes of Brighton, who should be easy to beat for us at home. I started believing, but now the big question and why I brought you on here is United have four title. I mean, they believe they can win a quadruple. They're that deluded. But we have two. We have a golden chance to win two trophies that we've never won in the last 18 years. Like we've never won. Have we won the Europa League before? I don't think
Never.
we've won it
No.
ever since we scored the Europa League. And Premier League
We
is
lost in
now
a final twice.
yeah, exactly. Premier League is now 18 years. Do you think we should go for both of them?
No. Let's forget about the Europa League. Let's win the Premier League. That is the main focus. I'm not saying just put kids in the Europa League. No, put a decent team in the Europa League. Put Kaivor, put some of these guys in the Europa League, but prioritize the Premier League. You have an opportunity to win the Premier League, be the best team in England, accomplish a league title, first time in how many years? Europa League is honestly the lesser of the two big European competitions. If you have an opportunity to win the Premier League or you have an opportunity to win the Conference League, you wouldn't even think about it. You'd say Premier League. But why are we saying the Europa League is any better? If it was Champions League or Premier League, it would be a different story. But cup competitions, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee you're gonna win. There's no guarantee you're gonna have a tough opposition or easy opposition. You can feel the easier team there. Focus on the league. Focus week in week out, trying to gain as much points as possible. And maybe then when you have like when you're have such a good lead, then you can maybe shift a little bit of focus. But I think the main priority should be winning the league over City because City are there for the taking. The Europa League is still a long way to go
Yeah.
to win it. Where the Premier League, I feel like we're a little closer to saying we could actually get it. There's only two people in this race. Manchester United are a little bit away. So I would focus on the Premier League. I don't know. Let me know, people. What do you guys think? Because for me, I would focus on the Premier League surely just because it's the bigger award, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Europa
definitely.
League is a lesser trophy.
Yeah. I mean, talk to us in the comment section. Talk to me. Do you think Arsenal should go for both trophies? Personally, I think I'm going to give you my reasons. Or you think you're like Igal, focus on the Premier League and then the Europa League. If we ever drop out of the Champions League one day, we can drop in there and and win it and and work on. But why I think Arsenal can win both trophies, for me, is this. I've looked at the Europa League and I've looked at the opponents. I've not watched a lot of action there, but ever since the round of 32. I don't think there is one team. It's just like the Champions League this season. I don't think there is one team you go, this is the team that will win it. This is the team that are big favorites. Maybe Man United because of the run they have, but I don't think Man United are as scary as Arsenal this season. I think you would ask anyone, should you play Arsenal or Man United? They will definitely say, give me Man United. If I stock Rashford, I might have a chance. With Arsenal, you don't know who's gonna score. With Arsenal, you don't know who's going to create a chance or anything like that. So that's why I think we might go with two. But then also, do you kind of feel don't you feel like, what if we go for the Premier League, we commit to the Premier League, and then we bottle it at the end, and then we had the Europa League, where you could go Union Berlin, Rennes, maybe Barcelona if they go past Man United, and then maybe and then you win.
No, bro, we're not bottling the Premier League. That's not happening. Listen, let me stop you guys right there. Arsenal, at this moment in time, we have how many games? We have a total of 12 games left, or sorry, 18 games left. How many games? We've played
15,
23,
15 games to go.
15 games to go, right? Half of those games are home games, half of those games are away games, right? Let's be honest. We're gonna play Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Leeds. We have a decent run coming up. Let's try to capitalize on all these points throughout this decent run before European football comes back. Next week, we're gonna be back in European football if I'm not mistaken, right? So
Yeah.
Europa League is going to be running simultaneously next to the Premier League. In that situation, I want us to have our first team fully in the Premier League and our second team in the European competition. So if Thomas Partey is fit, you play Thomas Partey in the Premier League. If Thomas in the Europa League, you play Jorginho.
Mm.
In the Premier League, you play Gabriel Martinelli and Saliba. In the Europa League, you play one of Gabriel Magalhaes or Saliba, and the other one you play either Kavor or Rob Holding. Right in the left back position, Zinchenko plays all the Premier League games. In Europe, Tierney plays all the Premier League games. It Tomiyasu plays all the right back games. I personally would almost feel the second 11, maybe 5 players stay in both teams. Bukayo Saka doesn't get rest in either team. Eddie Nketiah, Jesus, it doesn't matter who starts in which tournament. Trossard, Martinelli, it doesn't matter who starts in either one. I trust them both. Xhaka, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, you rotate those guys, and in my opinion, we have enough quality to field a B team in the Europa League and still get through the next round. I think.
Yeah,
Call
you
me
can.
crazy.
Yeah.
But
No,
we-
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and I hear you on that. I think that is the only thing I was going to. I've not said. With the Europa League, if I was given Sevilla right now, I've looked at. I literally watch a lot of the La Liga and the Italian Serie A. Give me any team apart from Napoli in the Italian Serie A right now in the Europa League, and we'll crush it. Give me any team in the Spanish La Liga. I think apart from Real Madrid, and we'll beat them. Like including Barcelona, who are on top of La Liga. I look at them. I watch them almost every weekend, and I don't think they're better teams than us. I don't think we would struggle. Against any of them. Maybe clubs in the German Bundesliga. I don't watch the German Bundesliga. The French league. To be honest, I don't think that there is a lot of there will be a lot of competition for us there. But listen, did you ever think that we would be here? Like for at the beginning of the season, did you ever think that Arsenal would be in any conversation for a title by the end of the season? I thought of the Europa League, but I wasn't even sure.
There was a 40-1 chance of Arsenal being in the title race and potentially winning it at the beginning of the season. And I
Yeah,
and I made a video jokingly saying, "So there's a chance," but I never actually thought we would really be in a title race. I thought it would be ridiculous to expect us to get 86 points. We're
yeah,
going to get more than 86 points this season. I think. I think we're going to get close to 90 points, possibly. So this is beyond my wildest dreams. Just the beginning of the season so far, where we are, we're on pace with the Invincibles almost. Literally a couple points less than what the Invincibles had at this point. I think 1 point actually.
yeah,
So I'm impressed. I think we can keep it up. I think we can win it. It's just at the beginning of the season, I would have been happy with fourth in the Europa League.
yeah. Personally, I said we finish fourth. We try to win the Europa League. If we can make it to the finals of the Europa League, I would be very, very happy. And when I saw Arsenal winning those couple of games, I was like,
When
right,
did you start to believe?
Manchester United, second leg.
The second game versus Man United just recently.
Yes.
Come on, for me, I started believing after we beat Liverpool and Tottenham at home.
Cow- that, that is that was a long way back.
No, but
Liverpool.
we barely lost.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah. We lost one game. We lost one game in 20. I think we drew like one or two Southampton and Newcastle, right?
yeah.
Um, we literally didn't even draw that many games. But it's always hard to believe when you have such a young team and they've never done it. And the only thing we tried to do, the Europa League the Champions League qualification last campaign, we bottled it. So it was always hard to believe.
No, but it was October 9th, and it's like, yo, we're still top of the league. Like, this is no longer 10, this is past 10 games in the league.
Yeah,
Then we drop points to Southampton. We lose to PSV. People are getting worried. I went to the game versus Nottingham Forest. We beat them 5-0. What a way to count, what a way to come back, right? But then we go to Chelsea's ground. We beat Chelsea. I was like, yo, this is amazing. And going into the World Cup, we were ahead of Wolves. We beat Wolves 2-0. We were ahead of everybody. We're still top of the table. I think 5 points clear going into the World Cup. Amazing. Who wouldn't have believed at that point? We came back from the World Cup. People are like, Jesus is injured. You're going to lose to West Ham. We didn't lose to West Ham. We didn't lose to Brighton. We didn't lose to Newcastle. We drew against Newcastle. People are like, oh my God, now you face Newcastle, you draw, you're going to start losing games. What do? We go to Tottenham, bust their ass 2-0. We go to Manchester United 3-2. And at that point, you can't stop but believe we're going to win it, everything. Going into that Manchester City game in the FA Cup, I'm like, we're unstoppable. No one can stop us. What happens? We drop points to Manchester City.
yeah.
Uh, we drop points to Everton. We drop points to Brentford. People are absolutely losing their mind because it's 4 games where we haven't picked up points. And guess what? Now back to business as usual after beating Aston Villa. I expect us to absolutely continue to keep this good time rolling versus Leicester away. And hopefully the good times keep rolling. And I'm telling you, by this time next week, Gabriel Martinelli will be back. Partey will be back. and we will still be 5 or 3 points ahead of City.
Yeah. Um, when I think about City, and I think everybody does, we think about 90 points. If you're running with City, you think about 90 points, 93. Last season was 93, right? 93. Um, yeah, last season was 93. Oh, they went all the way with Liverpool on the last day. Like they literally went all the way with with Liverpool on the last day. So if do you think we can win it with Manchester City on the last day like it was last season? And anyway, do you think it can go to the last day? They
Once
play
again,
Brentford away. We play Wolves at home. Do you think it can go to the last day? And do you think we can pinch it?
people are asking me to change my volume, so I'll connect my mic. 1 second, because they're saying my volume is low in the
And
chat.
I really feel your volume is fine.
No, but it's different when you're watching, right?
Oh,
1 second. But yeah,
okay. I've seen. Actually, I thought they were talking about my volume. That's why I tried to increase mine.
yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. 1 second. Okay, can you hear me clear? Let me know in the chat if this is louder.
Yeah, and Glenn says your volume is okay, Gal. I kind of feel like it's okay. I really really feel it's okay.
Okay, no worries. Maybe some people they're hearing on headphones and it's quieter.
Oh,
Anyways, let's get this show started. I'm not gonna lie to you. Manchester United, what about them?
yeah.
What about them?
Now, look with I think with United you can't write them off right now, can you?
Bro, Manchester United are not a threat to Arsenal in the Premier League. Manchester United are not a threat to winning the Premier League. What Manchester United are doing is they're getting by games. They're doing a good job. They weren't expected to be here either. They were expected to finish eighth or seventh. So, am I scared of them coming into the title race? No. Am I worried about them in the Europa League? They might get knocked out today. So, I really am not too concerned about Manchester United at all. I am more focused on Manchester City
Yeah,
and the rest of our games. Guess what? We don't play Man United from now until the end of the season unless we get them in the Europa League. So what is there to be worried about from them? All they
absolutely.
could really do is help us out in the long run.
Yeah, and I think with Man United, we do have an advantage that we have something like 3 games before they play again. If we win those three, we'll be like 14 points clear of them. That actually seals the deal for them, for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. So
yeah,
we play
absolutely. And their next game is a what Anfield.
they don't play until next weekend. You're right. So
Yeah,
in that case, we win against Leicester, we win against Everton, and then we win the next game after that. They're done. There's
yeah,
no way they're coming back into this. Plus,
yeah.
we have a game in hand, no? Or is that our game in hand?
Look,
Yeah, that's the game in hand. So
yeah, yeah, they'll have a game in hand. They'll have a game in hand, but when they play Liverpool, if they fail to win against Liverpool, the game in hand is gone.
there you go. So
Yeah,
I'm not too concerned about them. I'm worried about Manchester City. But let me ask you this.
yeah,
Let me ask you a question. Manchester City, they play how many Premier League games from now until then? So if we win against Leicester, against Everton, and the next game after that, we would have a total of what is that? 5 points ahead of City if
yeah,
they win all their games.
yeah.
Do you think do you think 5 points ahead of City with 25 games played potentially? What is that? 25? No, 26 games played. Imagine that. 26 games played, 12 games left, and a 5 point lead. Are you still scared of City?
Look, to be honest, I don't think they have done well under pressure this season. I don't think they are the almighty club that we all think they are, like they were last season. I feel like that last season took something out of them, and those players that they sold probably, but running until the last day with Liverpool, I feel like it really took something out of them. If we are 5 points clear, we still have to go to the Etihad, which is going to be a very tough fixture. We still have to go to the Anfield, which is a tough fixture, but unless Arsenal can go like 6 games on a run of 6 games or 7 games, and I think we can, because if you look at our fixtures, Leicester, Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Leeds. We are playing almost mid-table winnable games until Anfield, like in the 7 games, right? So 7 games to go, we could still be 5 points up. That's where I feel like Man City have lost it. That's where I feel like Man City have lost it. But 12 games to go, it's still on, bro. It's still on.
Listen, I agree with you. There's a lot of time to mess it up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's a lot of ways to mess it up, and there's only one way to keep it going. We have to keep winning,
yeah,
right? That's simply put. But what Mikel Arteta and these boys have been able to do this season should be respected and should be credited to them. I feel like at this point, it's gotten to a point where people just want to make jokes about the fact that if we win or if we don't win. If we win, everyone's going to give us credit. Everyone's going to just shut their mouths. If we lose, I still think we should give these guys credit. Like,
mm,
I get it, it's a failure if we don't win, because at this point, we can no longer say our expectations were fourth. If we lose, we have to hold that. But don't be afraid to put yourself out there and say this team can do it, because we're currently in a situation where mathematically everyone believes it's for us for the taking.
yeah,
And I feel like you're allowed to be cautious, you're allowed to be worried, but to the people who say we can't do it, you're just lying to yourself. You're ignoring the facts in front of you. It's almost like last year when we missed out on top four. People are like, I told you couldn't get top four. Well, yeah, you're right. We didn't get top four, but it wasn't like it wasn't there for the taking.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I think with last season, I think Spurs were better. We're fighting with Spurs. Spurs were much better. Actually, I would fear
They
Spurs'
weren't better.
last.
They weren't better than us. They just
No,
they,
no,
they just
they
picked up
weren't
form
better.
at the end.
They weren't better than us, but they were much better than they are right now. Like to compete with this Spurs right now, you surely guaranteed that you would win this spot. Last season, with the Kulusevski just coming in, with Son still running riot with Hurricane, they were much better, right?
It was
And
a new manager bounce. It was the new manager bounce.
of
That's
course,
what it
it's
was.
not the new manager bounce, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with City this season, you kind of feel like there will be that game where they will drop points. They've not even won 3 games. They've not even won 4 games in a row. This campaign, the best they've gone is 3 games in a row. They've not won like four games in a row, and that's what makes me feel like maybe at some point in time, they'll drop points. Let me tell you something. I predicted on my second channel that they will drop points against Nottingham Forest, and I said 1-1.
No way.
I did it. I'm going to start clipping my videos. I predicted it in my weekend preview. I said it's a shocker, but it will go 1-1. And I didn't even believe it when I said it. I just kind of felt like I don't believe they're gonna win again, and they didn't.
You don't think they're gonna win a game?
I didn't think they would win against Nottingham Forest, to be honest. I think they will batter Bournemouth, right? I think they will batter Leipzig second leg, but I still predict them to drop like 7 or 8 more points till the end of the season.
Okay, fair enough. For me, I agree with you on one thing. City will drop points.
Yeah.
Where they drop those points, we don't know. One thing I do know, they have to focus on the Champions League.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't really have to focus on the Europa League too tough. And they're still in the FA Cup. Don't forget that. They're
As
still
well.
in the FA Cup. So midweek, when we're playing Everton, they're playing Bristol City, then they play Newcastle, and then they're playing in the Champions League after a week's time when after the Crystal Palace game. So they have 5 games in the next couple days, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal, on the other hand, we have how many games? We have 4.
We have
We have
3 in 1 week, which is going to be actually very crucial. 3
Yeah.
in 1 week. Leicester on Saturday. Wednesday is Everton.
But you know what? 2 of those games are at home.
Yeah,
You
true.
you can chuck in the home games as pretty much wins, in my opinion. Everton at home, we win every year.
Yeah.
Bournemouth at home, we win every year.
Yeah.
The game that's tough is the Fulham away game. That is the
Yeah,
tough
true.
game.
Yeah, Craven Cottage, they're flying. They're doing well. They're doing well. I respect that. But you've also have to remember that we are the team with the best away record almost in the Premier League this season. And the last 2 points we've dropped, they've been at the Emirates. against City, against Brentford. So do you feel like we are losing that kind of threat at home, or it's just a slump, and then we'll get back on run on running?
Uh, I'm not worried about. You're saying home record or away record? I'm confused.
Our record is actually very good. Our record is very good. We've only lost to Everton and Man United away um, this season, and the rest of the games have been pretty much wins.
Okay, so I'm not too concerned about our record. What I'm more concerned about is if we cannot break down teams that play low blocks, because that's the issue we had against Brentford. That's the issue we had against Everton, and that is the issue we're gonna have against other teams.
Yeah.
We somehow found a way for Aston Villa, but that is
I,
my
I,
issue.
I really don't think Villa played a low block. If you look at their average positions, they didn't play low block at all.
No, that's not what I'm saying though. I'm saying
Yeah.
we just need to find a way to break down a team when times are tough. I get it that they didn't play a low block. I know Everton and Brentford did, but let's be honest, Aston Villa didn't have the incentive to go win the game. We had to go get it.
I've looked at our last four performances in the Premier League. I think there is only one game that I believe we were meant to win,
Which
and
one
that
is
was
that?
Aston Villa, and we win it because in the second half we did really, really well. That was the kind of performance I was missing from Arsenal. Dominate each and every aspect of the game, defensively, in midfield, up top, create those chances, miss them, and then maybe score. Score what you can. But against Everton, I think they did almost so many things better than us, including one thing we do better than any other team, which is pressing, right? They even press better than us. Brentford, I kind of felt like it was a 50-50 game, but they were a little bit better at creating chances. There's so many good chances, and we were not at it. Man City first half quality, second half we fell away. But do you think we can just bury that and then just ride on the Aston Villa performance, or you kind of feel like what happened against Everton could happen very, very soon, in any other fixture?
Okay, this is where I go with it. What happened against Everton can happen in other fixtures, but at home, it's going to be very difficult for teams to perform the way Brentford did at our
Mhm.
home. What Brentford did at our ground was very unique. You don't really see that often
Yeah.
happen this season. So I'm not too concerned about that kind of performance. Everton away, teams playing a low block with Jorginho now there, and hopefully we can find a solution by putting on using other tactics. Maybe something similar to how Pep, when you know the team is going to just play a low block and it's going to be defensive, you play more of an attacking team,
Yeah.
maybe. And when you have Jesus back, he's going to be crucial to unlock these defenses. We haven't had Jesus for how many months now? Since December.
Yeah.
So since the
78
Wolves game,
days, 70, 80 days now.
he's a crucial piece to
Yeah.
unlocking defenses, my friend. We cannot forget that. This is a guy who single-handedly helps us unlock defenses on a daily basis. So with that extra key to unlock defenses back very soon, I'm not going to be too concerned. But until Jesus comes back, there's always going to be a level of doubt if we can break down low blocks.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also feel like if we can go past Everton, I don't think there is another team in the Premier League that has, maybe apart from Newcastle, that really scares me. It's Sean Dyke, because with Sean Dyke, literally, I think he was born that way. He's managed Burnley in a similar way. He's come at Everton and he's beating teams with a similar, in a very, very similar way. But I think apart from Newcastle, where again we failed to break them down, but we were superb, purely, purely superb. Um, I kind of feel like all the other teams can at least leak one chance, and then if we take it, just like we had done against Brentford, we will be all right. And I want to ask you still about PGMOL and the decisions. One against Newcastle that didn't go in our favor. I thought that was a penalty. Like everyone saw it at the end of the game. The Manchester United, you know, Odegaard thing where they came out and apologized, and then the Brentford thing where they come out and apologize as well. Do you think those ones could come back to hurt us?
First of all, It's an absolute disgrace that they couldn't draw the lines for an offside decision.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah.
Number two, can it come back to haunt us? No, because we have ourselves to blame. We cannot we cannot we cannot let refereeing decisions impact the performance of the game. We have to perform. We have 90 minutes to perform. We have
Yeah.
to do it ourselves. We cannot cry victim. The only reason why we're upset is because VR has made a mistake. The referee has made a mistake due to his own incompetence and subsequently could have cost us points. Now, did it cost us points throughout the rest of the season? I don't think so. The Manchester United game, we messed up. We can't blame it on referees. The game against Brentford, we messed up. We can't fully blame it on referees.
Yeah.
So I understand why people are upset, but let's be honest, no, we don't know what would have happened in that situation, right?
Yeah, but you know, Igal, when you play poorly at times, you need to pick a point. The time you're never gonna play very well. You're never gonna have those 60% ball possession
Bro,
or
I'm just gonna be honest. The
to
Premier League referees are a joke. They're a
yeah,
disgrace to referees across the world. And the fact is, they might think what they're doing is perfectly normal because they protect themselves and they don't really cause too much trouble with the referees. This is the first time we've seen a referee get dismissed mid-season due to
yeah,
an error. So maybe they're now getting held a little bit more accountable. But personally, as long as they don't send players off incorrectly or they don't give away penalties incorrectly, I'm not going to be too upset with the referees anymore. I've taken the stance this season where referees are not the problem. We
yeah.
have to look at ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, to be honest, there are those decisions that really, really make me very, very mad. And it's not only Arsenal; it's the whole of the Premier League. And I'm like, how is this, even happening? Right, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to us as well, and I want to take some of your comments before we get into that Leicester City clash that will be happening on Saturday. This one says, honestly, Arsenal have all the chance to win the EPL from Celarion. Thank you so much. Look, I really love Arsenal fans and I really love the way we back our team. I think we are the most optimistic fans in the world, aren't we, Iga? I think we are the most optimistic.
No, come on. There's some delusional United fans. There's some delusional Chelsea fans. There's some delusional Liverpool fans. I think the most optimistic fan base is Liverpool fans.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But
Because think
look,
about it, we have a lot of negative Arsenal fans too, my friend.
yeah, true, absolutely, and I've come across them, many of them.
People were calling you negative last year.
Of course. Chipa says, this is Chipa from Hotel Popo. How are you doing, Chipa? I hope
Big up.
I'll pass by and then have lunch. Tima, big up to you, Ahmed, as well. Hi, Kosi Gal. How are you doing? Hope you're doing very
Team.
well. Hope you're doing well, Chipma, as well. Kosi, with this squad, we can win even the Europa League. Um, I kind of feel like you remember when Mikel won the FA Cup
Yeah,
when he came on, when he came in.
yeah.
You know why I like tournaments? It's not all about how good you are. It's all about, can you just see it through, like those 180 minutes. Like,
I personally think. Sorry, repeat that again. I'm confused. What were you saying?
yeah, I was saying that with with tournament football like the Europa League, as long as we can see a game through, like it doesn't even matter how good the lineup is that we put out there, but as long as we can see a game through.
100%. As long as we can see the game through and we can get to the 90 minutes. But it's not only about seeing games through. It's about delivering,
Yeah,
delivering in the final third, because that is where where we are not the most polished.
yeah,
We can do everything in the defensive end. We can control games in the midfield. We need to be clinical in the final third. If we can be clinical in the final third, everything comes together. That's it. We win every game
yeah,
because we struggle scoring goals every time we need it. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes we can't do it. So you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
It's just it's iffy situation. let me just change my wording. It's not that it's iffy, it's that sometimes when the chips are down and we need a goal, we need to be more clinical in the final third because that's what's costing us. Eddie Nketiah was not clinical. Bukayo Saka at times is not clinical.
Mm.
Martinelli at times is not clinical. You have Odegaard. He missed the crucial chance against Aston Villa. Imagine if we lost the game or
Yeah,
we drew.
that could have been the Steven Gerrard, sleep at Crystal Palace.
Let's not talk about that. We don't need we don't need no slip. And it wasn't at Crystal Palace. It was Steven Gerrard's slip was at Chelsea.
Yeah. Big up, Glenn in the chat. John says we need to beat Liverpool away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away, and Manchester City. Then the title will be ours. Do you think we need to win all those fixtures for us to win the title?
Just to be clear, so they're saying we need to win which games again?
Look, that's the comment. Liverpool away, Chelsea home, Newcastle away, and then Manchester City away as well.
Listen, when we play Chelsea at home, we're gonna pretty much have the league wrapped up.
You think so?
I think the league is going to be wrapped up sooner than later. Manchester City is going to focus surely on the Champions League. They're going to say bun the league because it's going to get to a point where they're going to say it's too far away or it's just too much difficult. It's too difficult to focus on both, and they might put all their eggs in the Champions League basket, which gives us a free hit, a free ride to the Premier League. That's my hope. I don't know what you guys think, but Liverpool away, we only need a point. Chelsea at home, all 3 points. Newcastle away, all 3 points. Man City away. If we can get a point,
Yeah.
we're good.
Do you know we play Man City and Chelsea in the same week? We play Manchester City on the
Chelsea are useless. We're
and
gonna
then
slap them.
9.
Chelsea are useless. They're gonna lose 3-0 at our ground. Chelsea can't play football this season. They're terrible. People were talking about Graham Potter. The players met each other last week, for God's sakes. Do you remember when we had Mustafi and Kolasinac and all these guys? And then we bring in new players. We brought in Aubameyang. We have all these players. This is what Chelsea are. Chelsea are currently in their banter era, and enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen, because Chelsea currently right now are the banter FC in the Premier League, and they're going to get absolutely their ass handed to them. Liverpool, you can't trust them. Newcastle is a tough test, but at this moment in time, Fulham is harder than Newcastle. Newcastle
Yeah,
have
true.
fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, true. They're falling off. But you know what you don't want is I think there's so many teams that are going to be back by the time we play the last 10 games of the season. I think Leeds will be much better. I reckon Southampton will be much better as well. And maybe Chelsea as well. But because they can't keep on losing unless they want to go down. They literally cannot keep on losing. But we want to dive into that Leicester City game, guys. Very important game. It's at the King Power Stadium. Arsenal beat Leicester City 4 goals to 2. In the first game, it looks like it looks like Leicester are a better side, like much better side. They don't defend better, but they score goals now, and they've won a couple of games. At the Premier League table, they are 14th and they have accumulated 24 points. They've won 2 of their last 5 games. I think they are much better. Don't you feel?
Come on, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Leicester are garbage. They're terrible. They're terrible. Like they beat Tottenham, but they're terrible. Like
they beat Tottenham and Aston Villa. They scored they scored 8 goals in those 2
yeah,
fixtures.
but they lost to Nottingham Forest 2-0. They lost to Newcastle 2-0. They lost to Manchester United 3-0. Like we're looking at 2 performances. They lost to Liverpool, and we know how bad Liverpool have been this season. They lost to Fulham. Like I'm sorry, Leicester. They might have good performances in them. They might have days where they're really good and then days where they're really bad. But I don't look at them and I say to myself, I'm worried about Leicester away. I say to myself, if we go to Leicester away with a fully strength team, not even full strength, the team that we played against Aston Villa, if we go to Leicester and we play to the same level we did in the second half, we win that game 2-1 or 2-0 easy, right?
Yeah.
Now, don't call me cocky or anything, but I just think Arsenal at this moment in time are playing at such a high level that we cannot drop off and go down to the level of Leicester. If Leicester are even have a close game with us, that means we're not playing to our levels. We need to worry about ourselves. And if we focus and we play to the levels that we know we can do similar to what Manchester United did to them, or we could do similar to what who beat them at their ground. Fulham beat them 1-0. Newcastle beat them 3-0. We can do a similar thing to them.
Yeah.
I'm not
You
too concerned.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to Glenn earlier on today, and they're one of the teams that have a very bad home record this season. Like they literally don't win at the King Power Stadium. But why I'm afraid of all these other clubs, of all these clubs, Leicester, Southampton, Leeds United. Apart from the manager bounce, the other thing that can let you lose games is when a team is trying to survive relegation. And I don't think Leicester are that clear. They will need something like 10 more points to survive this season, and they will kind of feel like
They're good.
Arsenal at home is a game to grab points.
No, they're not. You want to know why? Because they're going to look at their schedule and they're going to say to themselves, we play Arsenal, the best team in the league, right? Next week, we have Southampton,
Yep.
and we have, and midweek, they have a Blackburn Rovers. What they're going to do is they're going to play a full strength team versus Arsenal. They're going to see what they can do. Halftime, if things are not going their way, they're going to pack it in and they're going to focus on next week versus Southampton. Because if they lose to Arsenal, it's okay. If they lose to Southampton,
Yeah.
catastrophic. They can't afford to lose to Southampton. They cannot afford to lose to bottom of the league Southampton. So when it comes down to Arsenal, this game, no pressure, free hit. If they lose, they lose. If they win, amazing. But
Yeah.
realistically, I don't think they're going into this game guarantee that they saying they need to win all the game. They're
Yeah.
just going to go into the game, see what they can get.
Yeah. Okay. This is what I expect from them, and this is what I saw against Man United. They
Okay.
played very well in the first 19 minutes. They capitulated because of the goal. Marcus Rashford, the finish. They
Yeah.
capitulated since then. But the first 19 minutes were absolute quality. Three world class chances created and two world class, goalkeeper saves from David De Gea. If they bury those two, the game changes. Manchester United is chasing the game, and it could have run away from Manchester United a bit, and it was at the Old Trafford, right? So the second half is where I didn't understand at all. Same personnel, same team. There was no fight. There was nothing. They were literally being, cut through like a hot knife through butter. What are you expecting? Do you think they'll give us that kind of test for the first 20 minutes and then fall away? Or you think if Arsenal can get early, two early goals, and then it's gonna be just a free hit?
This is what I think is going to happen. I think Leicester are going to try to make it tough for us. They're going
Yep.
to concede, and then once they concede the opening goal, the floodgates opens up. Their defense is terrible. We're going to concede. They're going to concede a second one. Games wrapped up in the first 30 minutes, and we coast for the
30
rest of the game.
minutes.
Listen, Arsenal start games fast. You do
True.
realize that.
That's true.
We start games fast. If we start games the at the pace that we used to, and we can score a couple goals early and then dust the game. But I'm not going to take credit away from Leicester.
Yeah, true.
They're at their ground. They're going to make it difficult. But 2-1, 2-0 is not a blowout. It's a close game. It's a
Yeah.
close game. If we were to completely destroy them, it would have to be like 4-0 or something like that. And I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to do that. So realistically, we get an opening goal from the moment we get an opening goal, they're finished. Jamie Vardy's not playing no more. Leicester they're just a shell of themselves, my friend.
Yeah.
And the reality is, we're trying to have a conversation about Leicester and explain why they could do something. What have they shown lately? Back to back, back to back wins,
Against Aston Villa and Tottenham.
back to back wins, and then they lose to Manchester United.
Yeah, in that fashion.
I think it's going to be a 2-0 or 3-1. That's my personal opinion.
2-0 or 3-1. Of course, if you want my prediction, then you have to watch my predicted lineup. Sure, that's when I always do my prediction. But I want us to talk about those around three changes that have been in discussion, especially within us, the fans. Starting off with Ben White. Ben White didn't play very well against Aston Villa, and he was dropped against Man City. Tomiyasu didn't play well as well. So that kind of brings back Ben White into the conversation.
No, Ben White is going to start
Yeah.
easy.
I want your thoughts on Ben. I just want your thoughts on Ben.
Ben White, the thing is, Ben White had a decent game versus Aston Villa. He had to come off because I think he just wanted to change it up at the end to bring on Tomiyasu. I feel like he's done a good job in the last games trying to overlap and connect with Saka. He even got into some good attacking opportunities in that game. Personally, for me, Ben White, he's he's slowed down a little bit in the last couple
Yeah,
games,
yeah, that's true. That's
but you're
true. Ever
not
since
going to
I
you're
think
not
ever since the World Cup, is slowed down a little bit.
yeah, but you're not going to stay at the ridiculous rate of quality that he was at. The whole
Yeah,
team has somewhat taken a little bit of step back, and it's not because of the defense. It's more, I would say, because the attack is not as good as it was at the beginning of the season. The defense hasn't slowed down.
yeah,
It's just
true.
the attack isn't as good.
Yeah, and also the absence of Thomas Partey and the fact that he picked up that discomfort earlier on, which culminated into a real serious injury. Maybe the cover has gone, Thomas Partey, and the ground he covers in front of the back line.
Yeah, Jorginho. But this is where you have to help out. This is where Xhaka's important. This is where Zinchenko is going to be important. This is where Saliba, Gabriel, they make their money because the goal that we conceded to Aston Villa, the opening goal, Saliba
It's
should
not
have
like,
done better.
yeah, we should have done better, especially in midfield. There was no pressing on Matikash.
He should have done better. And
Yeah,
also, Jorginho, defensively, he might not be the best, but he did his job well.
yeah,
You got to
absolutely.
give him credit.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not because Thomas Partey is missing that our defense is poor. Our
Yeah,
defense is poor in that game because we were not aggressive when we had the opportunity to stop the attack.
yeah.
How on earth does Ollie Watkins score from that position? Saliba could have ushered him to the corner.
Yeah, true, true, true. I also felt like William Saliba could have done a little bit better in that regard. Now the other player that has slowed down a little bit has been Granit Xhaka, and with Xhaka, I'm going to defend him. I'm going to defend Xhaka. I think it is the absence of Gabriel Jesus. I think ever since Gabriel Jesus is no longer in the team, he's not getting those opportunities run into the penalty area. He's not getting those goal scoring opportunities into the box. Do you think Vieira would do a better job than Xhaka, or it's just better to keep the midfield intact?
Mm, you keep the midfield intact, or you play Fabio Vieira in Xhaka's role. If you want to play Fabio Vieira in Xhaka's role, up to you.
Yeah,
But personally, for me, if you're going to make rotation, you make the rotation at home. You don't
yeah,
go away from home and make rotation. It's
yeah,
kind
true.
of dangerous.
Yeah, true. Okay, yeah. Actually, that's kind of a point. I didn't think about that, but when you say it, it really makes a lot of sense because the communication that has been between Xhaka, Zichenko, and the likes of Odegaard in midfield, you just need to continue that. You just need that kind of consistency.
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
And and
yeah,
and disrupting that away from home could cause a little
yeah,
bit of confusion,
yeah. True.
and we don't have the home crowd to push us through the victory. Where
Yeah,
if we're at home, we can get through it a little bit easier. I'm not too concerned because we've done it before. We've made changes on the road before, and we were more forced to make those changes. If we make those changes productively, look, Arteta, when he makes changes, does he really make changes often?
no, he does not. No, no.
So he made a change with Trossard. Do you feel like he was kind of forced to make that change? I think he was.
Yeah, I think it was. I think with the Martinelli thing, you literally knew if you drop Martinelli and bring him in the 70th minute, he's going to be a much more better player, and he was.
Hmm. You know what? Personally, for me, I think what makes a player a better player is consistency
Yeah,
and continuity with the teammates. And if you change it up, you need to change it up when we just a little bit, not too much. So
yeah,
if you're gonna change Xhaka, bring in Fabio Vieira and bring in Gabriel Martinelli
oh,
back. Fair
oh,
enough. Those two worked out in the last game, maybe, but I need to see more of Fabio Vieira and Odegaard and Jorginho on the pitch at the same time because all
absolutely,
three all three of them on the pitch at the same time kind of scares me.
yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
how I don't know how good we're gonna do with the back to goal.
The last one is Eddie. The last one is Eddie. Look, I don't want to be harsh on Eddie, and I think the boots were a little bit big for to feel for Gabriel Jesus. He's done well. Recently, we need the goals, and he's missing chances for fun. Would you just give him more game time so that he feels confident, feels loved, and then he will be back on the score sheet, or would you just switch it up a little bit, Martinelli maybe through the middle or Trossard through the middle?
Okay. I've thought about this a lot. Let me ask you a question, and it's a rhetorical question. Just think about it while I'm speaking.
Right.
Does Arteta view Martinelli or Trossard as a striker? In my opinion, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
If he did, he would have already gotten and used Martinelli as a striker prior
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah.
Also, does he view Martinelli as an alternative for Eddie Nketiah? No. Does he truly view Trossard as an alternative for Eddie Nketiah? I don't think so. Eddie Nketiah is going to play every single game and every single minute that he can
Yeah.
at striker until Gabriel Jesus comes back. And that is the reality of the situation. He's backed him fully. He fully believes in Eddie Nketiah, and he is not going nowhere. That's the situation we're at.
When you say that, it reminds me of Villa. Was it Villarreal away semi-finals of the Europa League when he played Emil Smith Rowe in a false nine and he didn't play Gabriel Martinelli? I was absolutely fuming because I kind of feel like okay. I think the reason as to why the fan base asks for Martinelli to be played as a nine is his levels of clinical finishing. He's a clinical, like real clinical finisher. But I hear you when you say he doesn't view him as a number
Does
nine.
he offer you the build up? Does he offer you the dropping deep? Does
No,
he offer you
he does
what
not.
a number 9 in our current system offers you? Even when Lacazette was not performing, he never put Martinelli in the striker position.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, based on the evidence that we have in front of us, Saka's going to start, Eddie Nketiah is going to start. You pick between Trossard and Martinelli. Based on the evidence, Xhaka's going to start, Odegaard's going to start, and you pick if Jorginho or Partey is fit. And based on the evidence, the rest of the team is going to be the exact same as last week,
Yeah.
except for Martinelli.
Right. Look, I would go with the Aston Villa game team unchanged. I would really go with the Aston Villa team.
But Trossard wasn't that good in that game.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. But I don't think Martinelli has been good for like 4-5 games as well on that left hand side. And I just want to ask you: Do you think we are killing our left hand side a little bit? Do you think we're killing that left attack a little bit? Like I've seen so many opportunities when players have to play that ball into Martinelli, and they just switch it up to Saka. They just switch it up to Saka. They don't play that pass into Gabriel Martinelli when he's making those overlapping runs. Like, do you feel like there is something wrong because that is being shown in our average positions?
I wouldn't say there's something wrong. I would just say they trust Bukayo Saka more than they trust Martinelli, and maybe they should trust Martinelli a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's nothing's wrong. You know what it is? As footballers, you're going to go and do the safe thing.
Yeah.
This is a job at the end of the day. And if somebody's good at their job, you're gonna go and lean on that person. So that's what we've been doing. We've been leaning on Bukayo Saka a little bit more and saying, Bukayo Saka, help us out. But I think it's on Xhaka and Zinchenko
Yeah.
to more to link
Yeah.
up with Martinelli and help him out
Yeah.
than anybody else. Jorginho, it's not his fault that he's not looking for Martinelli. Eddie Nketiah, it's not his fault he's not looking for Martinelli. The center backs, Odegaard, Ben White, Saka, it's not their fault. The two people who are closest to Martinelli on the pitch are Xhaka and Zinchenko. If they cannot find a connection or some sort of synchronization with him, they need to all look at themselves and say, what's going on?
Yeah, because look, I've looked at our average positions, and Gabriel Martinelli always stays wide, but he never gets that ball. Like, we never play into him. And
I disagree. He gets the ball, but he doesn't get it in. He gets the ball, but he has to do something with it.
but then he doesn't get it as many times as Saka gets it.
But why would he? Listen to what you're saying. Does Neymar get the ball the same amount of times as Messi was when he was at Barcelona? No, because Messi's the main man. Bukayo Saka is the main man. He's never going to get the same amount of touches as Bukayo Saka. What has to happen is, though, when he does get the ball, he needs to be a little bit more efficient. Because when Bukayo Saka has the ball, as much as he gets tackled, when he
Yeah.
gets the ball, he puts the defender on his back and he's burnt them. Martinelli gets the ball. Sometimes his decision making is not there.
Yeah. True. True.
So it's on Martinelli. It's not on the team. It's not on the tactics. It's on Martinelli. That's why when Trossard came in, we're like, start Trossard. Because the moment he touches the ball, he looked like he was doing something with it.
All right.
It's not Martinelli's, it's not anybody else's fault.
Mm,
It's not even Martinelli's fault. It's just when you have an opportunity, you have to capitalize. Whenever Saka has the ball, he tries to make something out of it. That's why he has 8 assists and 8 goals or something like that. That's why Martinelli, on the other hand, who has a similar amount of minutes almost,
yeah.
has 2 assists and
Yeah.
8 goals.
Yeah.
He doesn't look to create as many chances.
Yeah. True. Right. So, thank you so much, guys, for watching in. And make sure you drop a like on the video. Fabio say, Sisumwa Abdelrahman. Right.
Big up Abdullah.
Says Fabio has to be integrated in the midfield three to improve flair and proper, um, proper passing of the ball.
Xhaka is a better passer than Fabio Vieira.
Yeah,
I'm
actually, I
saying.
think Xhaka is a better passer of the ball. I think what Arsenal need in that position is what you'd get from a player like Ike Gundogan. Do you agree with me?
100%.
Yeah,
Somebody who can defend, somebody who can score goals, and somebody who can
yeah,
contribute in many different ways.
yeah, absolutely. And if it was, if we were to go in the window, I would go to Inter Milan. I don't know if they would sell Nicolo Barella, but he's the player I would be looking at because
Barella.
yeah.
Fair enough. Good shout.
Yeah. Boys, don't be scared of Leicester City. Leicester City
Tell him.
cannot stand Arsenal.
Tell him.
90 minutes. I predict 2-0 win, a 2-0 win for Arsenal.
Just like me. Let's go.
Look, like I said, I'll give you my prediction when I do my predicted starting 11 after knowing whoever is fit. I think we
Tell
don't
him.
have so many injuries for this one. So Mikel should be able to give us a press conference a press conference tomorrow, and then I will do my starting 11, and then I'll give you my prediction. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Igal, for coming on. By the way, it's been a
No
very
worries,
good
man.
time.
An hour flies by.
Yeah, an hour flies by. An hour really, really flies by. The last time we talked, we talked an hour and it was like 10 minutes. And now we've talked for an hour. Look, I will always be there on your channel if you want me, if you need me there.
Yeah, come on Monday, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Where can they find you as well? Again?
Egal Talks Football, ladies and gentlemen, on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Egal, it's EGTV Egal.
Yeah. I've seen the TikToks, and I kind of feel like TikTok, football TikTok is more like a banter. Like I always
Yeah. It's not really news, but guess what? The people who do news, they do well because a lot of people want to go and see news also.
Yeah, because I've watched Rory, the Arsenal guy. Rory talks football.
Yeah.
Jonathan Morley, that guy's. I don't think there's a more deluded person like Jonathan Morley.
You know what? Forget about him. Rory's my guy. Rory's a cool guy. Rory does a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And then who else is there? Have you heard of the guy with the mask? Kez,
No.
Arsenal fan wears a mask. Then there's Dawood. You know Dawood?
Yeah, I know Dawood. Yeah, I know
Dawood,
Dawood.
Dawood, Dawood is very positive.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple more people like Lewis, Gully. There's so many of them. Oh, Remedy. You know Remedy.
Yeah, I know Remedy.
Yeah, Remedy is more everybody's content though. But yeah, you know
Yeah.
what? I'll tell you guys this. If you wanna see me uh absolutely destroy rivals, that's where I do it sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, bro. See you very soon. Guys, have a blessed evening. I'll see you in the next one.